We recently discussed if Brendan Rodgers should be sacked from Celtic, but since then, he's kind of turned it around with a 2-0 victory over Livingston and a 3-0 victory away to Dundee. But the bigger problem is, could he be leaving with the Eddie Howe mystery tour that's going to go on at Newcastle? Because it looks like he could be on his way out. He really could be Eddie Howe, because Newcastle, not looking too bright for them. You have to admit, all that money that's been pumped into that football club. You've also got their European adventure this season, Champions League. It looked like it was going so well until the Parc de France, and then they got absolutely screwed over. You can't complain. Well, I say you can't. All you can do is complain. They did get screwed over, but at the end of the day, they finished last of their group and they won absolutely nada. There's nothing for them. They've won absolutely hee-haw. And that, I mean, Newcastle, they can hype them up as a big club, but what's so a big club wins nothing in like over 60 years? And when I say over, I mean it literally is like over 60 years. It's just there's no excuses for it, you know. Newcastle, and then you've got those new fans having to explain, or the old fans having to explain to the new fans, this is why there's the Tyneside derby and all this good stuff, because, it's embarrassing that there's so many new fans have leached onto Newcastle since they've got this influx of money. Like, that's... And then you see the scenes that we saw last night in the Edinburgh derby when Shanklin scored. It's like, come on, let's just be real about it. Scottish football smokes English football every day of the week. The only difference is they've got better players. That is the only difference, man, because any other, can't compare the two. We're real, they're fake, with a wee tourist half and half scarves, all that mince. But we're talking about Brendan Rodgers, Eddie Howe, out of a job. So we're being linked here. Big Brendan's being linked. He's been listed as one of the bookmakers' favourites to replace Eddie Howe. Now, Brenda did say that no matter what, he would see out his contract at the club. Now, here. That was a few months ago. That's when Brendan thought he was going to get backed. We heard about this war chest that Brendan Rodgers would get backed going into the Champions League, and he was ready to lay the smack down. But of course, things haven't really went according to plan, if we're being perfectly honest, for Celtic, because they didn't really spend that much money. There's a lot of money left in the war chest, and also they're out the Champions League after, they got their first win in 10 years, but I mean, come on, let's be real, it didn't mean anything. It was a dead rubber game. Decent win, not going to completely bury a victory in the Champions League, but at the end of the day, it didn't mean anything, it didn't get them anything, and it's all over for them in the Champions League, or even Europa League post-Christmas. There's nothing happening for them. Brendan Rodgers, he might feel might feel hard done by, and I've just seen a comment on my feed saying you were buzzing about Ramsey and not this guy is reassuring. Yeah, well, I think most people were buzzing about Aaron Ramsey signing. Fabio Silva, go check out the video earlier. I'm not too keen on Fabio Silva, to be honest here, but I hope the best happens. I really hope we can lay the smack down with big Fabio Silva. But will Brendan Rodgers leave? He did say it honour the deal. I think if Newcastle came knocking, Celtic and Rodgers, their arse would collapse and Rodgers would go. The only thing is, look at the amount of money that Newcastle's got. Why would they seek Brendan Rodgers? I think Brendan Rodgers is a good manager. I don't think he's world class. Yes, he managed Liverpool when they were awful, and he managed, Leicester's about his level. So for me, Newcastle would do right to get someone else.